Standard lightsaber. The standard single-bladed lightsaber is the iconic symbol of the Star Wars franchise and the most common type of lightsaber. Some of its most famous wielders are Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Luke Skywalker. These blades are an evolution of technology created by an ancient species known as the Rakatans. And over the years, the designs were modified on an individual level, with the Jedi permitting Padawans to create their own weapons once ready, which reflect their unique personalities. Despite appearing to be the most simple and dated type of lightsaber, these still allowed for a lot of variety, leading to the 7 forms of lightsaber combat to be created. Double-bladed lightsaber. Double-bladed lightsabers are the second most popular style in the galaxy, but arguably its most versatility type. Notable users are Darth Maul, Darth Vader's Inquisitors, and Exar Kun. Initially designed by Kun, who was a Jedi turned Sith thousands of years before the saga of films, this was a powerful weapon which allowed the user to wield it as either a single or double-bladed weapon, allowing for multiple forms of lightsaber combat to be used interchangeably. Several modified versions of this lightsaber type existed, such as the hinged variety, which allowed the 2 blades to snap together into a single form, or be separate the lightsaber pike, which was a yellow-bladed version used by the Jedi Temple Guards, and even the split saber used by Asajj Ventress, which allowed 2 individual lightsabers to click together, forming a double-bladed weapon. Darth Vader's Inquisitors, a group created to hunt down and kill surviving Jedi from Order 66, used a unique form of double-bladed lightsaber which could spin, serving not only to intimidate and disorient enemies, but also to fly short distances through the use of a built-in repulsor lift. Curved hilt lightsaber. The curved hilt lightsabers, as elegant as they are rare, can be seen in use by some of the greatest duelists in the galaxy. Famous users of this type of lightsaber are Count Dooku, Asajj Ventress, and Ahsoka Tano in her later years. These specialist blades were created with a slight curve by their users, designed to allow for quicker and more precise turns of the blade in combat. Count Dooku was known as one of the greatest swordsmen in the galaxy, and he attributed much of his success to the ergonomic and fluid motions of his lightsaber. Other users, such as Ventress and Ahsoka, chose the weapons due to their desires to more easily rotate their dual-wielded blades, requiring less effort to pull off the same tricks and protect themselves from attacks from any angle. Light whip. The light whip was an incredibly rare free-form emission of plasma which spiraled and caught prey like a whip. Its most notable users are the Sith Lord Githeni, Lady Lumia, and Vernestra Rwoh. Although it's unknown exactly how the weapon was created, it was used by ancient Sith Lords due to the likelihood that Jedi wouldn't know how to protect against its unorthodox combat style. It was also known to be used by the Dathomiri Night Sisters as a vital part of their chaotic culture. Saber cane. The saber cane was, well, a saber in a cane. It combined smooth simplicity with practical utility. Its most famous users were Jedi Master Tera Sanubi, Sith Acolyte Hazan, and Maul. Created to fit the specific needs of its user, this design was known to have been invented a few thousand years before the movies. Tera Sanubi used his to aid him in his old age, as well as to quickly draw his weapon should he ever need it. Hazan was banned from carrying a lightsaber, so stowed it in his cane to blend in, and Maul used one to appear old and feeble despite being perfectly healthy and fit. Although we don't know for sure, it looks like Maul's saber cane was originally an Inquisitor's lightsaber which he dismantled after killing its owner. Very fitting of his rage-filled character. Dual-phase lightsaber. The dual-phase lightsaber is a clever but largely forgotten and unused lightsaber type. Its most notable users were Count Dooku in his time as a Jedi Master, Darth Vader, and Corran Horn. These unique blades were powered by 2 or more kyber crystals, making them far harder to create, but the result was the ability to change the length and width of the blade. Darth Vader used this in his final battle against Obi-Wan Kenobi in order to throw his master off balance and avoid letting him come too close. Lightsaber Blaster Hybrid. The Lightsaber Blaster Hybrid was a modern and chaotic weapon which was invented and solely used by Ezra Bridger. It combined the power and protection of a lightsaber with the range and adaptability of a pistol. The weapon allowed Bridger to either use it as a lightsaber or switch modes to disable the plasma blade and refocus the energy into firing stun blasts, which were capable of bringing down stormtroopers. Darksaber. The darksaber, appearing more like a katana than a traditional lightsaber, was one of the rarest weapons in the galaxy. Some of its notable wielders are Maul, Pre Vizsla, and Din Djarin. Created by Tara Vizsla, the first Mandalorian to join the Jedi Order 1,000 years before the movies. This is the only lightsaber variant which contains a pure black blade, and it glows with a white hue around its edges. Its droning hum was extremely different to standard blades, and it had a mind of its own which caused it to be slow and heavy when its wielder was not connected with the blade through the Force. Broadsaber. The broadsaber was an outdated, flatter, and wider version of a regular lightsaber which excelled in Form 1, Shoto, but struggled in other forms of lightsaber combat. It was seen as a reliable but sluggish and unwieldy lightsaber, which led the Jedi to largely ignore its existence. Proto-saber. The proto-saber is a largely mysterious early form of lightsaber which served as a middle step in development from the ancient Rakuten weapons and the modern lightsabers. It was notably wielded by Odin who lived thousands of years before the movies took place. These weapons were powered by an external power pack, meaning that slicing the wire could disable a user's weapon, leaving them entirely defenseless. Contained energy axe. Contained energy age is an archaic and uncommon type of axe which, on the surface, could look like vibroblades. But when ignited, it released a powerful ray of plasma which relied on raw and overwhelming strength in order to deal damage, rather than the potency of its cutting edge. These were, much like proto-sabers, easy to disable by slicing the handle of the axe which held the power source, diadium power cells. Great lightsaber. Great lightsabers, also known as light clubs, were oversized variants of regular lightsabers designed to be used by taller lightsabers. The most well-known wielder of this kind of blade was Hilt, a mutated dark Jedi of Gamorrean origins. These weapons required special focusing crystals and power systems, which allowed the rare blade to project a length of up to 3 meters. The heavier hilts and more powerful blades often made these lightsabers far more powerful and deadly than regular ones. Light foil. Light foils were thin-bladed, one-handed dueling swords which became ancient relics. Once more modern designs became the norm. Thought to have been created by the earliest members of the Sith Order, they became popular with the formation of the dual-focused second form of lightsaber combat, Makashi. The weapons were extremely lightweight, weighing less than a kilogram, and were easy to fluidly move in a flurry of strikes, similar to a rapier in real life. By the prequel era, these weapons fell out of date and were replaced with the Shoto lightsabers. Shoto lightsaber. Shoto lightsabers, also known as light daggers, were lightsabers with lighter handles and shorter blades. The most notable users of this variant were Ahsoka Tano, even Piel, and Grandmaster Yoda. These weapons excelled in the Jar-Kai and Ataru forms of lightsaber combat, which relied on the use of 2 lightsabers in order to overwhelm an enemy with fast, aggressive attacks, which users of a single blade would struggle to block or avoid. A variant of this weapon, known as the lightsaber tonfa, or guard Shoto, also existed. This was a lightsaber hilt with an attached handle, allowing it to be gripped at a 90-degree angle. Maris Brood is the famous practitioner of a set of these deadly weapons. This handle enabled users to easily rotate their blades, moving from attack to defense, and vice versa, without breaking a sweat. The design also allowed for a wide variety of fluid changes in attack, such as jabbing, slashing, and even trapping enemies, which made it an extremely dangerous weapon to come against. Flicker phase lightsaber. Flicker phase lightsabers are a cunning but cowardly weapon in the eyes of many. These are modified variants of standard lightsabers which enabled the users to ignite and extinguish their blades at random intervals. This meant that it was extremely unpredictable to enemies, making it hard to block against or properly attack its wielder. The Jedi Order viewed these weapons as dishonorable due to this, and it was sometimes used with a forbidden form of lightsaber combat, known as Trikata. This style entailed switching off one's blade when an enemy least expected it, causing them to stumble or falter, opening them up to attack. Lightsaber rifle. The lightsaber rifle was one of the coolest and craziest lightsaber variants, which could fire lightsabers at opponents. Created as a prototype deemed too dangerous to be widely used, it was locked away in the Jedi archives for hundreds or even thousands of years. Eventually, it was wielded by Jocasta Nu, the former librarian of the Jedi archives, when Darth Vader had visited the temple to eliminate her. The weapon required a lightsaber to be inserted like a bullet, and it then siphoned the energy from the Kyber crystal in order to fire up to 5 powerful volleys of plasma. These shots were so strong that Vader couldn't stand his ground when blocking them, instead opting to dodge the strikes altogether. This rifle could also be forced to self-destruct, which was so deadly that it blew a hole through the Jedi Temple. Training lightsaber. Training lightsabers were one of the most common but overlooked types of lightsaber, used to train newcomers to the Jedi Order. It was famously seen in the hands of Jedi younglings in the prequel trilogy, but regular lightsabers could also have a training mode activated, as we see Luke training with his in A New Hope. These low-energy blades would prevent permanent damage from training in duels or with droids, but were powerful enough to stop incoming attacks. Sickle-bladed lightsaber. The sickle-bladed lightsaber was an incredibly rare and mysterious relic of the ancient Sith warriors. This weapon is only known to have been wielded by Darth Noctis, a female Sith Lord who had the power to conquer the entire galaxy, resembling a scimitar. These bent and curved blades were capable of slipping through an opponent's block in order to strike them from their sides, or could even be used to completely disarm their enemies. So this has been every type and variant of lightsaber in the Star Wars galaxy. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more amazing Star Wars knowledge.